Welcome to the Build Your Brave Career podcast, where we flip the script on the tired stereotype that women in and around the tech industry have to be stressed out, overworked, and underpaid. I'm Nicole Steinbach, the International Bravery Coach and your host. Forget what you've been taught. Bravery is not a personality trait available only to the brash. Bravery is a skill, and you already have it. Which is great, because building the skill of bravery is the most powerful way to creating the career and life you really want. As you build your brave, you will stress less, work less, and then earn more. This podcast will help you do just that. Let's dive in. This episode is for you. If you've gotten recently or you're expecting to get a performance evaluation that is lower than you think it should be, or even worse, you've been targeted for a performance improvement plan, a so-called PIP. This episode is also for you if you're currently turning yourself inside out to do your job, working way more than you want to, or let's be honest, should. And you continue to say yes to things outside of your job scope because someone asked or assumed you do it. If you are currently stressed about what one or more people think about you and your work, leading you to ruminate and replay emails, conversations, meetings, and even small comments, this episode is for you. You may believe right now that if only your boss liked you, if only your client was satisfied, if only your more senior colleagues thought you were great, everything would get better. But that's not true. You feel awful, and the only person who can change it is you. It's you inside of you. If any of this rings true for you, congrats. You're stuck in a professional loop of people pleasing, and you can solve it. Let's start off with a quick definition and some examples of people pleasing just to make sure that this is for you. And then I'm going to walk through what you can do about it. So Merriam-Webster defines people pleasing as, quote, a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her own needs or desires. I love this definition, and I'll tell you why. Because while we are communal creatures, we are tribal creatures, and we have the desire to make other people happy and to be thought of positively, the focus here of people pleasing and why it holds back your career is doing it at the expense of what you need and desire. That is the powerful phrase here. If you're stuck in the trap of people pleasing, you've gone past being in community, like in your team, and gone far too deep into what other people potentially think, say, or do about you. When you are in people pleasing, you've decided that someone else's needs are more pressing, more important, more urgent than your own. You've put yourself onto the back burner of your own career. And importantly, you're feeling most likely resentful, exhausted, dissatisfied, maybe even depressed. And underneath all of that, most likely, is fear. You have most likely chosen to run after someone's approval out of fear of negative consequences, like being rejected, being passed over, being ignored, getting a poor performance evaluation, or even pipped. The ironic thing is that people pleasing will create everything you're scared of in your career. You're already getting the consequences. And in addition to that, you're stressed out, you're overworked, and you're probably underleveled and underpaid. In just the last few months, I've talked to, like I said, so many women who got surprisingly negative performance reviews. Most of them, when I asked a few questions, it was very clear they were running after someone's approval. And here they are. It's super unfair, right? They're busting their butts. They're working overtime. They're doing other people's jobs. They're scared they're going to get rejected or suffer negative consequences, and they still get punished. And here's the important part. They've earned it. This is hard to hear. It's brave to say. Many times, and this is my story as well, many times when people have been put onto a PIP plan, especially women, it's justified. They're failing to do their jobs, and they're failing to do their jobs well. They're too distracted because they're running after approval, chasing growing scopes, work assignments, and they have become unreliable, unavailable, stressed out, emotional, and the perception of them and their work is negative, even while they're overworking, even while they're doing more than their own job. Does that sound familiar? Okay, let's solve it. So you probably want to get a paper and pen or listen to this again, because here we go. For long-term listeners, this is going to sound really familiar because it's a specific use case for the Build Your Brave framework. The Build Your Brave framework has 3 parts: clarity, momentum, and accountability. So let's start off with outside of the Build Your Brave framework. You start off by evaluating yourself. Is this a repetitive habit of yours? Are you consistently chasing approval in your career? And that's leading to negative performance reviews, getting passed over, even getting onto a PIP plan. If the answer is yes, you need to talk with long-term a fantastic therapist who's a good fit for you, because you need to uncover and you need to heal from your early wounds, your early traumas, big T or little t, and identify those unhelpful decisions that you made very early in your life. And you need to work with someone who is qualified and supervised so that you can uncover this, you can work through this, you can heal through this, you can create new decisions and patterns without the additional and unintended harm of someone who just isn't qualified to do this level of work. Google has wonderful information in so many languages and so many places in the world of how you can find a great therapist. But if your answer to yes, if your answer to the question, is this a repetitive habit, is yes, you need to work with a therapist, not a healer, not a shaman, not a coach, not a mentor, not a friend. You need to work, and you deserve to work. You deserve to work. I said it twice on purpose, with someone who is qualified and supervised. Now, if your answer is no, if you're like, this is so weird for me, I don't know why I'm in this place. All right, you're going to evaluate the situation. I have an episode, it's linked in the show notes, about the evaluation framework. You're going to evaluate the situation. Get clear on what's going on. Really commit the time. It will take an hour or maybe a couple of days, a little bit here, a little bit there. And you need help on this step. You need people who can see what you don't see. A friend, a colleague, perhaps even a coach like me. But you need to get really clear. And now we're into the Build Your Brave framework, clarity. So you've evaluated the situation. The second part is you're going to do a time audit. If this is a repetitive habit for you, people pleasing into poor performance or not, you still need to do a time audit. So for the next 2 weeks, I want you to record what you're doing every 15 minutes. And when you record that, you're going to record what you're doing, who assigned that work for you, and who is the customer or who benefits from that work. So what it could look like is updated product specs, My senior colleague assigned it to me, and it's for the product manager every 15 minutes for the next 2 weeks. And caveat, if you're leaping between work in less than 15-minute increments, you need to record it down to the minute. You need to see your reality, who you're doing work for, what that work is, and who benefits from that work. You need to see it in detail because so does your boss. We're still in clarity of the Build Your Brave framework. You need to share this time audit and the summary of the work you're doing, who assigned it, and who benefits with your boss. And this is step 3. Set up a specific meeting. Make it clear. I want to talk about my performance, or if you're on a PIP, your PIP, and you want to go into the detail with your boss. Tell them that's what you're going to do. Then you're going to share your time audit. You're going to share basically a chart of everything you're doing, who's assigned it to you, who benefits from it, and let them see the reality. This is so important. If your boss is dismissive, unwilling, or quote, too busy to get into the details, okay, that's a wonderful data point. You're going to walk out of that meeting with your boss, or if they won't even meet with you, which is sadly not super uncommon, fantastic, because now you're leaving that job. You're going to update your resume. You're going to update your LinkedIn. You're going to hit the job market. That's what you're going to do. Your boss is not doing their job, which is to manage you. You will not, listen to me, you will not have a turnaround in that situation. It's not going to happen. If you cannot see that, I say this with brave love, if you cannot see that, and if you cannot action that by hitting the job market and getting out there, if you believe that if you just work harder and communicate better, you can turn it around, you are so deeply stuck in the people pleasing, you have to get a therapist. You have to get a therapist. If someone is dismissive or unwilling, and it is their job to support you in performance and in your job, get out. And if you cannot, you need a therapist. Okay. So at this point in time, you're going to move to momentum. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to get out your time audit, the one that you shared with your boss and the conversation that you had there. Hopefully your boss has said, whoa, you're doing what? For who? Absolutely not. We're taking things off of here. This is your job. Your job is over here. You're doing too much, or that person is assigning you too much, or whatever the case may be, because now you're going to take your time audit and you're going to concretely compare it to your job description. You're going to see where's their overlap, where are their extensions, and you're going to get hyper specific so that you can track what you're doing and how you're feeling over time. These are two different things. This may sound like a lot. This is usually where my clients or potential clients start pushing back on me. Ooh, that sounds like too much. That sounds like too much. Here's my answer to that. Are you in a performance problem? Are you on a PIP? Are you stressed out? Are you overworking? Do you want to earn more? Okay, you're going to do this work. If you're not willing to do this work, please stop complaining. With love, light, and humility, stop complaining. This is the work you have to do to change it. So here's what you're going to do. First, there's a transparent, simple overview of what you're doing, what obstacles you're facing in getting that work done, what issues are coming up in getting that work done, also with people, also with process, also with technology. And you are going to go through that on a regular cadence with your manager. You should be doing this anyways, but if you haven't, you're going to do it now. Excel tends to be pretty good for this, and technology. Sometimes people would rather have a table in Word, whatever works, but you're going to keep this up to date and you're going to go through it with your boss regularly. The separate, and this needs to be separate, and it's only for you or your coach or your therapist. You're going to track how you're feeling. how you feel when you leave a specific meeting. Maybe there's a team meeting every week and you're going to track how you feel when you leave that meeting. You can track how you feel at the end of the day, how you feel in the evening, how you feel on the weekends, specifically on Sundays. People get the Sunday scaries. This has to be specific to you. Some of my clients have used free apps on their phones. Others have used a written or an electronic journal, but you need to see the trend of how you feel, because success and momentum is created not just by what we do, but by how we feel, right? Stressed out, overworked people do not get promotions. All right. Then the last part, and this is also the last part of the Build Your Brave framework, accountability. You're going to focus on who you are being and you're going to follow through. So if you know that you want to feel capable, you want to make sure that you're doing your mindset work, that you're skill building towards capability, that you're spending time with people who treat you like you're capable in your personal and professional life. You're going to be doing that for capability or for confidence or for liked or whatever the case may be. You're also, if you've agreed to hand over work, you have to actually hand over the work. Everybody wants to work less, but nobody wants to seem to hand over work. Being a bit facetious there, but for real, if you've agreed to hand over work, actually hand over work. If you've decided to ask more questions before saying yes to additional work, then you've got to do that. If you've decided to ignore assumed work until it's actually assigned to you, follow through. And crucially, as you're breaking this habit of people pleasing at work, this habit that is leading to poor performance reviews, make sure you get the support and the structures you need to see long-term improvement. And practice a little bit of grace and kindness to yourself. Breaking the habit of people pleasing is a long-term process. It is one that you can bravely begin and benefit from right now, regardless of how senior you are, regardless of how difficult it feels right now. Doesn't even matter if you've been on a performance review or a PIP. It just doesn't matter. You can benefit from breaking this habit of chasing people and putting yourself behind them right now. I have been on a PIP twice in my life, and I still reached director level responsibility and pay when I was 30 while pregnant. If I can do this, I truly believe that you have a great opportunity to do it too. You can break this habit. You can stress less, work less, and earn more. And you can do it by liking yourself as much as you like other people. This is a really big topic, people pleasing and career performance. Send me your questions and your feedback at Nicole@churchsteinbach.com. And if you want to partner in doing this work with me, I can help. Same email address, Nicole@churchsteinbach.com. It's also in the show notes. Until next week, brave it up. If the Build Your Brave Career podcast is helping you flip the script in your own career, if it's helping you reduce your stress, work smarter, or create more income, please share this with a friend. Till next time, you are already brave. Now go build your brave.